Today's pen is a Kaweco Allrounder. You can see it comes in this kind of matte slash really low sheen blue finish, which is really pretty. I love this color. And it has chrome furniture, chrome trim. On the back here, where the logo is, it says Kaweco Allrounder from Germany. You can see the nice pen clip. It's more, I mean, it's not as functional as you would think because it's super stiff. I mean, you're not going to get this in and out of a pocket very easily. So I think it's more for looks than for function. It's really stiff. It would rip your pocket if you tried to use this too regularly. And then around the pen band is just some decorative like slashes and ovals all the way around. And then on the clip itself, it just says Kaweco. And it has like a little underline. There's the Kaweco symbol on the back, sort of like a peace sign. You know, it has bits and pieces of the word Kaweco spelled out between this sort of peace sign kind of decoration. Other end is just a mold mark there where it came out of the mold. And it's a twist-off cap, a threaded cap. You can see in the inside there's a little inner cap to help keep the ink in there so it doesn't evaporate. Really pretty pen, kind of an undersized nib for the size of the pen. It's an average to large width pen, so it's a little bigger than your standard size, but by no means would I can call this like a wide or a fat pen. Has a Kaweco nib. Most Kaweco nibs are interchangeable. This one happens to be a fine. There's a little bit of decoration on the nib that's like some filigree work, and then again the Kaweco logo. And as far as this thing writes, oh, and also how it posts pretty well. It makes the pen a lot longer because it posts just right on the tip there, but it posts solidly, meaning it's not going to fall off or anything when you're posting. As far as writing with it, this is just some standard, obviously, notebook paper, and we are going to start with this fine nib. That's what Kaweco sent me on this pen, was a fine nib, so we'll try it out. So it's the Kaweco Allrounder fine nib using So there's a writing sample of the Kaweco Fine Nib Allrounder. It's using Kaweco Blue ink cartridge, and it doesn't flex per se, but you can see the difference on the upstroke versus the down. It does give you a slightly thicker line on your downstroke than your upstroke, which is nice. It gives a character to your writing. I really like that. In terms of smoothness, this isn't the smoothest nib I've used, but it's also not scratchy. It's an interesting nib. It's reminds me a lot of one of the Aurora pens, the Ypsilon that I reviewed. It's got feedback. That's not a bad thing, but you can definitely feel the fibers in the paper as you're writing. And it's not a rough ride, but it's not silky smooth either. And some of that might be because it writes on the medium to dry side. So if it were probably a medium nib, would be a little bit wetter. But what I do love about this nib is the fact that it has a heavier downstroke than upstroke, because that means when I'm writing in small spaces or I'm trying to cram little tiny lettering into a small space, it allows me to do that. I just have to use less pressure when I'm writing. So anyway, this is the Kaweco Allrounder fountain pen, a nice mid-price to low-price fountain pen, and it's maybe not my absolute favorite fountain pen, but definitely a contender. It's kind of average use, fine nib fountain pen. Honestly, if I was going to buy this pen again, it would be for the looks, because I absolutely love this blue, but I would go with the medium nib if I were to buy it over again, just because I think the fine nib's a little too fine for my taste, but you be the judge of that for yourself. Thank you for watching, and you can check out a more detailed review with close-ups on bestfountainpen.com.